Multiple AEW champions are sidelined with injuries. Plus, we have a Jeff Hardy update following the Rampage botch. And Roman Reigns teases a major announcement. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Injuries in AEW seem to be stacking up. We have an update on Jeff Hardy for you in just a moment. But currently, 2 AEW champions are out of action. Who's the first one, Andrew?
The first one is Julia Hart. Now, this comes from Fightful Select, who said TBS champion Julia Hart has been out of action for nearly a month since defeating Anna Jay at AEW Battle of the Belts. We haven't heard the particular injury she's been dealing with, but there had been some creative ideas floated that needed to await her clearance.
So Julia, and I must admit, I hadn't noticed that she wasn't wrestling, which is weird because if you look at it, you go, well, of course she hasn't been wrestling.
Yeah, well, and that's it as well. And I feel really bad for Julia, actually, because, you know, the title change was something that I believe a lot of us wanted. I know a lot of us in the office were sort of hoping that she would get the TBS championship, and she's shown tremendous progression in a short space of time too, to get to this place where she's at now. It's just a shame that she's not able to wrestle on the regular and continue to grow and become like a really good TBS champion. I'm sure she will do that down the line. Hopefully, if she remains the champion as well. But that sucks for her. Bless her.
It's not just Julia Hart that is a champion suffering an injury in AEW. Meanwhile, in ROH, the pure champion Wheeler Yuta is out of action. Fightful Select say that he has been dealing with an injury that has been undisclosed as well, which is why he's been off TV. However, he is advertised for a match teaming with the Blackpool Combat Club in CMLL on the 29th of March. This is where BCC go and have their grand day out over in CMLL.
Cheese, we'll go somewhere where there's cheese.
We'll go somewhere with these wrong trousers on, Claudio.
I hope he's all right. With this being scheduled for March 29th, hopefully this sort of signifies that he'll be okay and will be healed up for his time over there, yeah.
We have to keep talking about injuries in AEW. So it was yesterday that footage emerged from the Dynamite Rampage taping that saw Sammy Guevara hitting a shooting star press, Jeff Hardy countering it, but in the process of all that happening, Sammy Guevara, his knee landed in the face of Jeff Hardy. The match was brought to a halt very quickly afterwards, and there was a lot of concern for Jeff Hardy. He seemed very dazed. He seemed to be bleeding from the mouth. Fightful Select and Brian Alvarez both say Jeff Hardy suffered a broken nose following that botch in the match with Sammy Guevara at the taping for Rampage. Guevara landed that shooting star press and the knee hit his nose, it broke his nose. There were concerns that Jeff Hardy had suffered a concussion, but Fightful and Wrestling Observer say that whilst he is being monitored, it doesn't seem like he had a concussion. So a near miss there.
Yeah, which is obviously sucks for a broken nose. Thankfully, no concussion though, which is the better news coming out of that, at least anyway.
The far better news. More footage actually popped up over the last few hours from that Rampage taping, in which we see a very dazed Jeff Hardy being helped to his feet and an irate Matt Hardy flipping off Sammy Guevara.
I mean, obviously, those two have history as well with things that happened in the past. You know, the concrete spot years prior at this point between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy, that saw Matt Hardy continue his match with Sammy Guevara too. I think that sort of led to a lot of the Jeff Hardy stuff, along with the Sammy Guevara and things that have happened in the past, led to a lot of sort of discourse on the internet and vitriol, I guess, directed towards Sammy Guevara. The shooting star press thing, in my opinion, it's just a thing that happens sometimes in wrestling, isn't it?
It's to watch that spot go down. It was a shooting star press. These things do happen. I don't think there was anything in there that struck me, in the same way like with Shotzi doing the DDT on the apron the other day. It was a move that she's done before and done well, but sometimes when it comes to wrestling, sometimes a simple mistake like that does happen. I know there's a lot of discourse online about the safety of wrestlers, but on that occasion, it just did seem like it was a simple accident in wrestling, which does happen in wrestling. It does happen in wrestling. Either way, we send our best wishes to Jeff Hardy. We're relieved to hear that it looks like it's not a concussion. I'm glad that steps were made to make sure that he was safe afterwards, and we wish him a full and speedy recovery. Which AEW faction is growing, Andrew?
Oh, it is La Faction Ingobernable. My tongue didn't work then. La Faction Ingobernable. So on Twitter, Roosh has spoken about the future of LFI, and he said 2024 will see a bigger LFI. I will add a new man to the group and a woman. He adds that in capitals. And a woman.
It's a woman.
No Pasanada. The faction already obviously features Roosh as leader alongside Preston Vance, Dralistico, and Jose the assistant. Who could these people be? I was like, ooh, it'd be kind of cool if, I guess, the repackaged Black Taurus when he comes into AEW.
My
that could be pretty
first
cool.
thought was Black Taurus.
As for the woman, maybe Thunder Rosa?
I was going to say Thunder Rosa. That would be cool.
I think that would be nice.
I quite like that as well. Loads of potential opportunities there. I'm up for it. I'm up for seeing Roosh really step out with his faction.
Yeah, me too.
Like to see it.
Roosh is tremendous as well, and I want to see more of LFI. I like the faction stuff in AEW, and I like to see a dominant faction.
Yeah.
And
good to have a dominant faction. It's important for a faction to have a name as well. Roosh is very passionately called his team La Faction Ingobernable, as we have profoundly said. It's important for a faction to have a name. Isn't it, Jeff Jarrett? Isn't it important for a faction to have a name that completely sums up what they are all about? At Real Jeff Jarrett, come on, Jeffrey lad. You should call your team Total Non-Stop Arseholes. Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeffrey. Come on, Jeffrey. Come on, Jeffrey. Come on, Jeffrey. Call your team. Total non-stop arseholes, Jeffrey.
that was you just doing.
That was me, the whole
everybody.
cast of Rainbow.
Yeah, okay.
Making a rod for my own Jane and Freddie there. Come on, Jeffrey.
Rainbow, an anagram for total non-stop arseholes.
It is indeed. If you move
it.
the letters around in Rainbow, it spells total non-stop arseholes.
Absolutely.
So come on, Jeffrey, to SmackDown tonight. Come on, Jeffrey. To SmackDown. It's Friday, isn't it?
It's Friday.
Do it, Jeffrey, or I'll pull your twanger. Now, to SmackDown tonight. We've heard rumbling that The Rock is going to be part of SmackDown tonight.
Yes.
But Roman Reigns is going all Tony Khan on us and teasing a major announcement.
He is, yeah. Last night, Roman Reigns shared a graphic featuring himself and The Rock from the WWE WrestleMania kickoff, tweeting, "Tomorrow night, everything changes." What does that mean?
I wonder whether this is where The Rock officially joins the bloodline.
Oh, you are teasing me with a good time.
There was a weird part of me that thought maybe this is where Roman Reigns passes the leadership of the bloodline to The Rock, but I think that'd be the worst thing to do.
I think that would be the worst thing to do as well.
Emasculate Roman Reigns. I think we want a power struggle at the top, but I think we have Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns at least invite The Rock to join the bloodline.
Oh man, that's
Officially.
actually that's really interesting, and I would like to see that because that's obviously how it feels like where it's going in terms of Roman Reigns and The Rock part of the same family, and they were talking about that in the WrestleMania thing, saying to Cody like, if you talk about my family, if you talk about his family, then you're talking about my family, and that would be pretty cool, and then some sort of some dissension on the road to WrestleMania there, like you said, a bit of a power struggle. That would be very interesting to see.
The other thing is that what could happen is we could sow the seeds for what has been reported by some outlets as a tag team match for night one of WrestleMania, where we'll potentially see Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, Rollins and Collins.
We're
going to have Rollins and Collins pop up at Elimination Chamber next weekend.
Yep.
So potentially tonight they throw down the challenge. Next week they accept it.
Oh, actually, do you know what? Something like that. Maybe. I guess the Grayson Waller thing could be like, oh, well, what do you think about the Grayson Waller thing at Elimination Chambers?
Yeah.
Or it could be him being like, oh, are you going to accept this challenge and this, that, and the other? Oh, yeah.
Potentially.
I like your thinking, young man.
We're going to find out tonight on SmackDown, and Sam and Fraser will be here first thing in the morning to talk all about it.
They sure will be.
And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Keys.
I love you, bye.
Come on, Jeffrey.